Hello, welcome to the live readings. Today I'm going to look at your charts. This is dedicated to you, answering your questions. The questions can relate to a variety of topics. You can ask me questions about general life questions like relationships, career, life purpose, whatever you're struggling with, trying to figure out. Or questions can be connected to transits, your future, energies that maybe are affecting you now or you want to learn about. These readings are donation based. Pay what you can. Suggested amount is 25. There is a link to send your payment in the description. And I am putting a link in the pinned comment as well, so it is easier to access. I do ask that you use this link if you're able to, instead of going through the YouTube payments, just because it is easier for me to access and see, and then it doesn't have to deal with like outside big companies. So questions, like I said, could be anything. Last week somebody was asking me about like the best date to get engaged, so you can ask whatever your heart desires. Also, let me know where you're watching from, what your rising sign is. That's always fun to know. Hi, Julia. And once you do send the donation, I will add you to my list. Let me actually pull up my list. If you've sent a donation in the past and I didn't get to you, you can also let me know, because everybody who has ever sent a donation is on my list. So if you like sent it and I didn't get to your reading for whatever reason, do tell me. But once you send the donation, you go on my list basically. And after that, I will need to have your birthday information, date, time, place of birth, and your question. If you want your information to be private, you can email me with your information at anastasia.does.astrology@gmail.com and specify, like, right at the top of the email, please keep my information private, just so I make sure that I don't accidentally share it with people. I do understand that some people, want their information to be sort of private. So if it doesn't matter to you, you can just, share your birthday information after you send the donation in the comment. So I think that's it in terms of the technical things. Julia is a Libra rising like me. Hi, Libra rising. Hi, Justine. Hi, Jess. Libra rising watching from Michigan. Look at that. Libra risings unite. Justine says, I have a question from Connecticut. Shoot, what's your question? Jess Ramsey says, Libra risings are in the house tonight, for sure. We have Jackie, who is a Virgo rising, living in Maryland. Julia says, well, Libras. I notice that happens really often, that I either get, there's going to be like either the same rising sign or people showing up with the same moon sign. And a lot of times it might be connected to the transits. We are in Libra season, right? With the sun shining light on Libra placement. So it might make sense that Libras are feeling more activated. It's a lot of Libra's birthdays, right? So they might be asking more questions because they want to know what is happening. And if you guys have, while we're waiting, I'm probably going to be live for like about an hour and a half. So while we wait for some people, you can also ask general questions if there is something that is on your mind, something that is easy to figure out without looking at the chart. Justine says Taurus rising with Mars, Cancer sun with Saturn, Capricorn moon. So do you mean you have Mars in the first house and the Sun Saturn conjunction and the Capricorn moon? That is interesting. Uranus conjunct Venus in the second house in Gemini. Okay, very, very Uranus and Venus will be very unique style and relationships that have a lot of sudden developments because Venus is connected to love and beauty. So, to people who are just joining, I am doing donation based readings. In order to get on my list, I ask for a donation. Suggested amount is 25, but you can pay however much is comfortable for you. Once you submit the donation, I put you on my list, and then I need your birthday information and your question. I do ask to prioritize one question just so we can focus on something and keep our vision and priority very clear. Hi, Anita. Welcome. So, yeah, and you can either share your birth information in the chat if you don't mind it being public. If you want it to be private, email me at Anastasia astrology at gmail.com. October is almost here. I have a video dedicated to October if you're curious. I also have an interesting, more general video coming up titled, Why Are You Still Single? I am quite excited for that one. So I think it could be like a fun video that hopefully gets a lot of love. We like love over here. As a Libra heavy person. Julia says, I do psychic readings for people, and this last eclipse was really strong for a lot of people I read for. Did you see that too? Yes, especially for Virgo and Pisces and potentially Sagittarius and Gemini risings. I feel like I had a lot of Virgo clients coming in and being like trying to figure out what the future holds and where they might be going. And I think a lot of Virgo heavy, we actually have a Virgo rising with us. So if you want to share, maybe more than one, but I know there's definitely one who mentioned that she's a Virgo rising. So yeah, people feeling lost and maybe confused and feeling a little bit unsure about where they're going. Julia, when you do readings, do you also look at people's charts, or is it mostly like, do you do tarot, or is it just like psychic based on their energy? Anita says, I'm an Aquarius ascendant and sun. This month I'm studying, but have recently met a guy which is distracting me and making me uncertain about what to do. Well, maybe he's your challenge. Maybe he's an opportunity for you to both explore relationships, but then make sure that you're not giving up on yourself, right? Because if you have the sun on the ascendant and you're an Aquarius ascendant, it's important for you to be true to yourself, right? Like it's important for you to have your freedom, but this guy could be like something exciting, but also a chance to have a good, like, figure out what balance is for you personally. Okay. Jess says, I'm a Libra rising with Sun, Mercury, Moon, and Virgo. So your girl has been going through it. Yeah, I have 3 planets in Virgo, so I feel you. And especially if you have planets at the end of Virgo, or Pisces, or Sagittarius, or Gemini, like the final 4 or 5 degrees. Saturn just went back at the beginning of September. And so Saturn coming back to Pisces is affecting all of the late Virgo people. Like if you're born at the end of Virgo season, if you have planets in the final degrees there. So that's why we might be feeling extra difficult right now. Jess says, all of my Virgo is in the second decan. So Saturn is not affecting you, but North Node might be. Let me see. So people who are just joining us, I am doing live readings. Suggested donation is 25. Pay what is comfortable. The payment link is in the description and in the comment, in the pinned comment. And once you send the donation, I will need your date, time, and place of birth and your question. Okay, so let me just see what North Node is doing right now. Yeah, so if you have, for those people with planets in the middle of those signs, Virgo, Pisces, Sagittarius, and Gemini, South Node is there. And South Node will be there for the next few months. So it's currently at 18 degrees Virgo. And it's going to continue moving, hitting people with like the middle of Virgo placements. Okay. Justine says, Confuses me about the natal place being there. What happens when the planets hit there, like Uranus? I'm not sure what exactly you're talking about. Like when you're saying natal place being there, I'm not. If you can specify what you mean by that, I would appreciate that. Julia says, I'm a Virgo sun. It was overwhelming. I do tarot, energy reading, astral view, and I do see elemental water, fire, earth in people. So it's not chart readings, but I see how the planets play into people. Okay. And Jess says, I've got Jupiter at 18 degrees Pisces. That is a really nice Jupiter to have. What house is it in for you? Jupiter in Pisces will be very lucky. So it's beautiful. Unless your south node is also in Pisces, then it's going to be lucky, but it's going to be like, do something with it. Sixth house. Oh, because you're a Libra, you're one of us Libra risings. That's why, right? Yeah. Okay. So good luck with health and colleagues and potentially running your own business, because you're saying I've got south node and Venus in Libra too. South node in Libra and Venus in Libra. Are we both? You're 80, you're going to be 86, right? 1986. And you're saying I just started my own business. How awesome. Yeah, Jupiter for Libra risings rules the sixth house of work, health, and service, and the third house of business, communication. So it can unite those. And I think because you've got Jupiter in the sixth house, it also suggests very strong healing energy and healing potential. Leo baby said, hi, Anastasia. I just sent a payment for a reading. What was your email again, please? It's Anastasia does astrology, but there are periods in between. So it's Anastasia period does period astrology at gmail.com. Hi, Allison. Good morning. Yeah, so Anastasia period does period astrology at gmail.com. Where did you send the payment? Because I do not see it yet. But I am checking. So there should be three options. When you click on the link, there should be three options for payment. And I do ask that you choose one of those if it is available to you. And if it is not, you can do the YouTube payment, but I would say priority should be the ones in the link. And let me see. Leo baby. I don't know. Do tell me where the payment went to so I can check. I don't see it on PayPal. I don't see it on Venmo. I don't really see it. Yeah, no, it's not here yet. I am a Virgo, Allison, but thank you for happy solar return. It was 2 weeks ago, so I can celebrate a 2-week birthday. Okay, Jess says, I'm definitely a natural healer and I have been pretty lucky with work. That's good, and probably good colleagues, right? Like supportive relationships with colleagues. Allison, you might be thinking of my Libra rising and Libra South Node and Libra Mercury, because I do have, it's pretty nice, I think, for Libra risings to be in Libra season, because it is the time when we are going through our like reinvention and rebirth, and especially lovely when Venus comes into Libra, which is October 13th. So still a little bit. Melissa, where have you donated? For some reason, oh, there it is. Okay, now I'm seeing it. Okay, so I have 2 people. So if you want, so right now there's 2 people. If you'd like to get on the list, send the donation. After that, if you want your information to be private, send me an email at anastasia.does.astrology@gmail.com and specify, or you can send it also to info@anastasia.does.astrology.com, whichever one is easier. Once you do that, in the email, you can specify that you want your information to be private. Send me your date, time, place of birth. And the question could be either in the email or in the chat. But do make sure that you're telling me if you want it to be private, because then I'm like not going to share your chart and keep it hidden. Sometimes people, want their names to be kept private too. So I would appreciate if you tell me that. Okay, I'm just gonna add you guys to my list. Thank you for the donation. The email was taking a second to update. It's so crazy that September is almost over. I feel like it just started and it's too fast. Everything is too fast. Okay. Leo baby, I see you. Xaviera, hi. You're saying, hope everyone is doing well. I'm new to the channel. Welcome to the channel. We have a couple of people in Australia. How exciting. Okay. Melissa, you can either do info@anastasia.astrology.com or Anastasia period. I should just stick to one email instead of making it confusing. Anastasia period does period astrology at gmail.com is my preferred mode of contact. But I will check both of them. So, okay. So, Leo baby, I see your payment. I believe I will need your birthday information, date, time, place of birth, and the question. And if you don't care with your information being public, just put it in the chat. And if you want it to be private, send it to my email and just make sure that you tell me that you want it to be private, because sometimes people email it, but it doesn't really matter for them to be private or not. Okay, and I'm going to update it to make sure. I don't think I'm seeing anything from you guys yet. Xavier is asking how many readings are being done. So I'm going to be on probably until like 6:30, and I'm just starting really. So I still have spots. It might be, I don't know, 5, 6 people potentially, depending on how the evening goes, how crazy we get. But right now it's only 2 people, so there's definitely spots still available. And for anyone who ever wants like a full-sized reading, go to my website, anastasiadoesastrology.com. If you know that I have recently published my 2026 planner, the 3rd edition. I've been talking about it. I've been posting about it. So if you want to get ready for the year to come, until October 1st, you can still save $6 with a coupon code EARLYBIRD. One word. So find the link you can either get it on my website, or there's going to be a link in the posts on my channel. Okay, so waiting for the information from Leo baby and from Melissa. Thank you, Allison. Allison, with her Aries placements, always providing a dose of fiery enthusiasm. Very, very awake at 5 in the morning. Why are you up at 5 in the morning? Did we talk about that? What is happening with being up at 5 in the morning? So if any of you guys, the people on my list, if you have sent me an email already, do tell me. I am not seeing anything, but I feel like there has been a little bit of a delay. And sometimes it also takes people a second to like figure out what they're asking. But also, one second. Let me just do something. So if you guys were this link is where you can find the planner, and the code EARLYBIRD saves $6. So for those of you interested, check it out. Okay, Xavier says, I don't have any of those payment methods. I don't do much online buying. So if you, I mean, I do prefer the links, but if you don't have those, you can also pay through PayPal. No, through YouTube. That's usually just a little bit more complicated on my end because, it goes through YouTube, which we love YouTube, but it takes some time and commission and all the other things that comes with them them being a part of it, but that's an option too, doing it through YouTube. Okay, Leo baby, I don't know if I see your email, but let me keep updating it to maybe see it. And the same goes for Melissa, because whoever, I mean, I'm gonna get to both of you sort of back to back, but if I get one's person email sooner, then we can just start. Hi, Paige. Um, no worries about asking a question. I'm happy to repeat it. So these are donation based. Pay what you can. Suggested amount I am giving people is 25. If you can pay more, great. If you can pay less, I understand. And once you send the donation, I add you to my list, and then I need your birthday information, date, time, place of birth. You can share it in the chat, or you can email it to me if you want it to be private. And my email address is Anastasia astrology at gmail.com. So sending it there is great. Leo baby, I will need your place of birth as well. And do you want your information to be private? You can just tell me the place and I will keep everything else private. Because I have the date and I have the time, but I do need the city as well. City and the country. And the state, if it's in the US, because in the US you have a lot of similar names in different states. Also, Melissa. I did get the email, but I don't think it includes the city. So, did you send a different email? We're like in Mercury retrograde land without Mercury being retrograde. It's a little bit confusing. So, yeah, Leo baby, I got your email. It just doesn't have the city you were born in, and I do need that. And also tell me if you want your information to be private, because I can also just share it and show you what I'm talking about. Sometimes people do like to see their chart, but if you want it to be private, I can totally keep it private. Xavier, can you take a direct deposit from a Canadian bank? That's where I am. So not really, because I think it's like a lot more complicated. Like it will require me to look at my bank information, and I unfortunately do not have it. Is it easy? I don't know. I feel like yeah, that's just like a lot more complicated. So you can probably just do it through YouTube. I'm sure YouTube will also give you a chance to do it. So maybe try to see if there's an option to try to do it through YouTube. Okay, Melissa says she sent the city, but I think I'm asking about Melissa. I don't think I see your email. Oh, there you are. Okay, Melissa. So I see Melissa. That's great. For Leo baby, we still need the city. So I am going to pull up Melissa's chart while Leo baby gets back to me with her A, city, and B, whether she wants her information to be private. So, and then I'm going to do your reading right after Melissa. So thank you for being patient. Let's get this party let's get this party started. I am sort of restless to look at people's charts already. Okay. Melissa said that it doesn't need to be private. Let's see. Have you looked at your chart before, Melissa? Are you familiar with it? Okay, I'm just looking it up. Okay, so let's see. And Melissa says, I'm inquiring about my career. Okay, Melissa says, I'm familiar with the chart. Hi, Balaji. And I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Okay, and Leo baby, just again checking in that I am still waiting on your birth city and state, or birth city and country. If you want to email it, great. And also whether you want your information to be private or not. So Melissa, you're saying you're wondering about career. You're saying currently just started Said Sadi. Is that maybe a typo? What does that mean? What does it mean? Okay, so let's get started, Melissa. And I appreciate you also sharing your placements. And let's take a look. Okay, so you were saying that you are Gemini rising, Capricorn, Sun, Taurus, Moon. That's what I got. Gemini rising, Capricorn, Sun, Taurus, Moon, Saturn, and Pisces. Okay, Leo baby, thank you for another email. Balaji, the bookings are open. I have 2 people currently, so there will be 2 people ahead of you. Okay, yeah. So Melissa, are you looking at like future career? What's happening with your career right now? I think you gave me, no, I think all the placements you said were Western astrology. Future. Okay. Yeah, so this is your time, right? Is everything correct? December 23rd, 66, 5:44 p.m., Croydon, Australia. And I'm a Western astrologer, tropical zodiac whole sign houses. So you are indeed Capricorn, Sun, Taurus, Moon, Gemini rising in here. Okay. So you're asking about career. It is an important period for your career presently. So you're born with midheaven in Pisces, with Chiron on the midheaven. Chiron being the wounded healer suggests perhaps early in life certain vulnerability when it comes to career, and a sense that especially Saturn will do it to Capricorn, Saturn, right? Like maybe some kind of difficult authority figures you had to deal with, or sacrifices you had to make, people not fully seeing your potential, you having to be a little bit in the background, or like even having to deal with certain matters. Saturn is opposite Pluto and Uranus in the house of home and family, maybe some type of challenges that involved home and family. Saturn here rules also the house of debts. Let's say responsibilities that were connected to taking care of an elderly family member that maybe slowed your professional life. So while Chiron and Saturn can both indicate like a certain amount of dissatisfaction and delays professionally, there is also a sense that with Saturn, you feel like part of your professional calling involves having to create maybe some kind of structure and maybe rethink some laws or do work that has some kind of like foundational energy. Saturn generally represents being like a manager, the person that is in charge of things, and Chiron will suggest strong healing ability. So while you may not have, it doesn't look like a traditional career to me. It looks like you're meant to have maybe some type of like Jupiter being the ruler here in the third house, potentially your own business, a healing job, right? Like working with people going through transformations, literally healing as a doctor or healing those people that are struggling. Even you've got your sun, which is the planet of identity, and your moon, which is the planet of emotions, both in these dark houses, which I think gives you quite a powerful intuition and ability to see beyond what meets the eye. So being a nurturer, being kind of good. And even your South Node in Scorpio reads as like you have the soul of somebody who takes care of all the details, right? You are, look at your like Capricorn and Taurus and even your Virgo placements. Probably early in life, you found yourself in the grind. You found yourself like stuck taking care of all the little things because people felt like you can handle it all. But then with your North Node in Taurus and with the transit North Node in Pisces and this being your Saturn return, all of these minute type of like work matters don't feel satisfying. I think you're meant to do again some kind of healing work, but maybe not deal with, not sort of get lost in the, I'm thinking of Never Ending Story. It's not maybe the best visual, but like in the Never Ending Story when the horse gets like dragged into the, it's a terrible visual, sorry, but like but like don't get dragged into the mud and stuck in like a difficult situation with like you're meant to oversee things. You're meant to maybe be also like more creative and um and sort of playful on some level, and like also find a chance to sort of create beauty and balance and peace. uh Sorry, Xaviera. I'm sure we can figure it out next time if you wanted to reach out to me. But okay, so as far as the future goes, what was happening in your career, Melissa, in 2006, 2007? Because every 19 years we get these, well, every nine, right now the eclipses are happening in your house of career. There's North Node in the 10th house, which is urging you to follow your dreams, and the last time this was happening would have been in 2006, 2007. So if we're thinking about the future, we kind of have to look at the past and see what was potentially activated for you back then. um to see, to see what this, like, what kind of similar patterns might be coming up. Balaji, what kind of currency is that? It's like so interesting looking. I don't think I've ever seen that. Is it looks like a Nepali flag. Um, but okay, thank you for a donation. If you can, for people who want to get on the list, please prioritize the link in my description and in the pinned comment because it's the most direct version to to get to me. But if you don't have any other ways, then that works. Doing other things works too. Okay, Melissa, sorry I got distracted. Do you remember what was happening in your career in 2006 and 7? And do you feel like you're maybe in a similar cycle right now? And Balaji, if you want to share your question and your birthday information as well. If you are okay with it being public, you can just put it in the chat, or if you want it to be private, you can share it in the, you can email me, and there should be my email in the description, or it's Anastasia period does astrology. Sorry, Anastasia period does period astrology at gmail.com. And Leo baby, I got your location, and I got the information that you wanted to be private. Do you want to specify a little bit more about your question, Leo baby? Like you said, it's about love, but is it about like what's coming up? Generally, what I can see about love, I would like that. Okay. Melissa says, I've been a driving instructor for 36 years. I'm over it and feel my next step is a spiritual type of job, but I don't know how to make the jump. Yeah, and that makes sense too, because with your, let me open this again. So with the South Node, which is connected to past life and gifts that you carry over into this lifetime, but at the same time, the energy that can become, that can feel tiring. Your South Node is in the sixth house, which is being like a driving instructor, teaching someone how to do things, being like in the midst of things will be quite appropriate for that. You see people with like South Node in the sixth house work in office jobs, sometimes service jobs. You see people with like working in having like a cleaning business, anything that has to do with like problem solving and maintenance, and also helping people, like being in the helping position. And like your North Node still says that you're meant to be in a helping position, but I think it's more, it has to have some kind of spiritual energy to it. So it looks like you've got Jupiter by transit, which is the planet of good luck and growth and optimism, in your house of money, and it's going to be here until June 30th. So maybe you're going to receive some kind of payment, or there could be some kind of financial opportunity, but it's also, I think, helping you figure out what's worth investing into. And then by the time Jupiter comes back into Leo, which I say back because you're born with Jupiter in Leo, which will mark your Jupiter return, and that is after June 30th next year, and for a full year after that, this is, I think, is a good time for you to start a business. So now might be a really good time to brainstorm and to figure out financial matters, and to use this Jupiter to like talk to people and figure out good rates for any loans you want to get, or maybe look even for partnerships and people you would want to start a business with, and then be ready to potentially go forward with it a little bit later. And okay, I'm going to give you a couple more. I'm sort of curious to look at a couple more dates, and then I think we're going to move on to Leo baby. And Balaji, I will need your date, time, and place of birth, not just the date and the question. So yeah, so more specific information, more details. Give me more, because just the date doesn't really tell me much as a professional, as most professional astrologers will tell you. We need the date, time, and place of birth. Okay, Melissa, just a couple more interesting dates I want to see for you, to kind of maybe look at like the lucky dates. And if you ever want a full size reading where we analyze, all the important transits coming up for you, we can also do that. And for anyone who is looking to do that, you can book it on my website, anastasiadoesastrology.com. Okay. So So Jupiter is trining your midheaven 3 times. Midheaven is connected to career. So that might be the time of some kind of opportunities, doors opening in the professional and social circles, and just generally a positive time for career change, study, promotion, travel. So this just happened on September 7th. Might be interesting to look back. It just like September 7th was also the eclipse. It's coming back again. Yeah, like take a look back and see if anything, maybe even some kind of idea came to you, or you had a conversation, or maybe some like new passion, new interest appeared in your life. This repeats on January 19th and May 2nd, and these give them 10 days on each side. And then your Jupiter return happens in July 13th, 2026. So I think I would recommend you take things slow and potentially do think of, if you're feeling a little stuck, think of the type of work that you want to do that will be most helpful to others. And maybe that's where some answers will lie. I hope this helps, Melissa. Okay. Leo baby, so you ask your information to be private. You did send me your chart. Okay, just 1 second. So the question was about love, serious relationship, was married in the early 90s for a year and a half and nothing substantial since then. Early 90s. Okay. I'm glad it helps, Melissa. Balaji Satara, is that India? And also the question. And for anybody who's watching, I am still taking people for mini readings. These are donation based. Pay what you feel comfortable with. Suggested amount is 25. If 25 is too much, pay how much you can. If you can afford more, I will not say no. Basically, whatever you feel, however generous or financially happy you feel, that is what I will ask of you. So to send a donation, you can use the link in the description or link in the pinned comment. Once you do, send me an email, anastasia.astrology@gmail.com with your birthday, time and place of birth, and your question. And if you want your information to be private, specify that you want it to be private. Okay. Leo baby. So I'm not going to share your chart because you want your information to be private. So I'm just going to look at it on my own. But just to confirm, are you a Leo sun, Aries moon, Pisces rising? Just to make sure we have that correctly for you. So, okay, yes, please confirm if Leo sun, Aries moon, Pisces rising is correct. And let's take a look at your relationship energy. Okay, so you're born with Venus and Pluto in the 7th house of relationships. 7th house represents long-lasting, solid, committed types of relationships. Venus generally wants there to be harmony. She is in her fall in Virgo. And so planets in their fall have a quality that makes their nature contradictory to the general planetary nature. So Venus wants there to be beauty, harmony, and accord when she's placed in Virgo, as she is in your chart, as she's in my chart, and charts of lots of other people. It's not like, oh my God, this is so bad. But like when she's placed in Virgo, your mind can be so strong, and your critical nature and your tendency to focus on the negatives and like nitpick and be critical of yourself and be critical of other people is likely to be so strong that it makes it difficult for you to enjoy things, not just relationships, but anything, pleasures of life, right? It's like eating a piece of cake and worrying that it's going to go directly to your waist and not really enjoying the cake. And like I have this placement, so I'm speaking from personal experience. There are some rituals and remediation that can be done for Venus. And, my sort of thinking with astrology was always, how can I help myself first? Because I needed to understand myself. And then through that, I have learned what to do. And I am now super excited to share my knowledge with other people. Like I'm teaching a course right now, I'm going to teach some more. But you should, like, one thing I would recommend is working with Venus when she's in her fall, and some of it will include so Friday is the day of Venus. Every Friday, wearing green colors, treating yourself to a delicious meal, um buying yourself flowers, doing kind of self-love rituals, going on dates. But a lot of times when you have Venus in Virgo, there is like a need to kind of woo yourself and love yourself and give yourself the energy that you potentially hope to receive from other people. And on some level, this will also be true for Venus in Scorpio or for Venus in Aries, because those are two other difficult placements for Venus to be in. I also have candles for Venus. So this is Venus in Libra 3, and I also have Venus in Libra 2. I have Venus in Taurus. All of that could be helpful to light up and to sort of read maybe even some kind of affirmation while you're looking at the light of the candle. I'm wearing like a bracelet I made for Venus. So I'm all pro Venus magic as someone with Venus in her fall. So working on that. And like Friday, you can also volunteer at a charity that is connected to women, maybe women who are like single or elderly, or like doing some type of like, even if you have any like feminine, or you've ever dealt with any feminine health issues, sometimes it might be good to volunteer for that charity or donate to a charity that is connected to that. So I do recommend, candles and all of that, all of like rituals, and just specifically assigning some time on Friday to do that. Pluto may also suggest that there is a little bit of like, I think you might attract people who are quite intense and maybe sometimes obsessive. Maybe you can be obsessive in relationships sometimes. And so Pluto can also make you sort of scared of being hurt because you've been hurt before. And so out of that fear, you may protect yourself and not share what you truly feel with other people. And here it's important to find a good balance, right? Like to find balance between being discerning and between being vulnerable, because you don't want to completely like feel like you need to control some kind of power in or have control and power in a relationship. You are also natally, you're born with North Node in the house of identity and South Node in the house of relationships. So that to me also suggests that you are meant to connect with yourself first and be happy within yourself before you find a relationship that you're fully happy in. So it's like intertwined together. It says that you need to like discover yourself, learn what makes you happy, and then the relationship will come. And as far as kind of timing, and you said, what might be coming, there are a few things. Well, actually, we're currently in the eclipse cycle, and we're getting eclipses in Virgo and in Pisces. We just had an eclipse in Virgo on the 21st of September. It would have been a South Node eclipse. So it's like new beginnings, but new beginnings that require you to let something go, to let go of perfectionism, to let go maybe of fears that are connected to relationships, to let go of any like self-criticism or like perfectionism in relationships and things like that. And there's going to be one more eclipse in Virgo in March 2026. Let me tell you when. What was happening? So you said you were married in the 90s. So I guess what was happening in your life in 1988 romantically, and in 2006, 2007. Was there anything around that time? And let me tell you when the other eclipse is going to happen. So another Virgo eclipse is coming up on March 3rd, 2026. So that is also, I think, significant. And even the fact that Jupiter is currently between June 9th this year and June 30 next year in your fifth house of romance pleasure, it could suggest that you're very much in this portal right now. So as long as you're willing to let some things go and potentially prioritize yourself, and Pisces risings tend to struggle sometimes with, like, taking care of themselves, because first house is our identity. Pisces rising would be your identity, and Pisces tends to be a place in our chart where the boundaries are a little bit poor. So having to figure out how to, like, treat yourself well, and prioritizing yourself can lead to good relationships, I think. Lucky me, you're asking about Libra rising. Do check out the video I posted with October horoscopes. There is a horoscope talking about the month of October, and it should be really clear in terms of answering this question. So definitely check that out. So, Leo baby, I hope this helps. Don't get discouraged. Do some rituals. Do check out my candles. I use them all the time, and I do rituals myself every Friday, and it's you gotta keep doing them. Okay, Bunny. So you're asking for help with work prediction. Could you specify what's happening with work exactly? Just more information. Are you looking for work? Have you found work? Like, are you what's happening there? And for people who are watching, if you'd like to get a reading, I ask for a donation. Suggested amount is $25, but pay what you can, less, more, however much you can afford. And you can pay through the link in the description or the pinned comment. And once you do, I will need your birthday information, date, time, and place of birth, and the question. And you can either share it in the comments or send me an email at anastasia.does.astrology@gmail.com. If you want it to be private, definitely send me an email and specify that. Right now, I only have one person on the list. So unless we get somebody else, this might be our last chart of the day. But I definitely still have space for more people. Okay. Bonnie says, I'm working, but I'm not feeling comfortable. Whenever I start to work, some interruptions happen. Same with sleep and relationships. I'm scared of my aunt too, or my family feel like always they plot something or something feels off around me. I'm sorry to hear that. Sounds like uncomfortable. Okay, so professionally, we're focusing on that. You're saying you're working, but you're not feeling comfortable. Whenever you start to work, some interruptions happen. Okay, I got a Cash App, and I got another PayPal donation. So thank you guys for that. Let me add you to my list. I will need your information, date, time, place of birth, question, primarily one question, so it's easier to focus and prioritize. And either share information in the chat or email me at anastasia.astrology@gmail.com. And if you want it to be private, please specify. Okay, then I'll just update my list. Okay, 1 second. Thank you for being patient with me. Okay, Bunny. Okay, Kayla, I see. And the Cosmic Key. Okay, so you guys are both cool with being public. Okay, Bunny, let's see what your chart has to say about career matters. Just double checking that everything is correct. April 15, 94, 6:20 p.m., Satara, India. So what can be disrupting your career? So we have Neptune and Uranus in the 4th house of home and family in opposition to the midheaven. That could suggest that home and family members can somehow be disruptive, and maybe things that are happening in the home can affect career. I wonder if there's a way for you to work from home or find um, some type of less regimented career. You do right now has this very supportive Jupiter transit, and I think if we're looking at what might be coming up, Jupiter is really nice and it conjoins your midheaven, offering promotion, career opportunities, a chance to start something new, travel in a new direction. 3 times. So the first time, September 4th. Did anything happen in late August, early September in terms of your career? And then we have January 23rd and April 27th. And this is really beneficial time. I think the need to balance career and family is always going to be there. And that is why I think it's important to figure out a way to have a job that is perhaps a little bit like freeing on some level, the job that allows you to make your own schedule on some level. And now could be quite a fertile time for that, for professional developments and professional growth, with Jupiter being in your house of career. And next year, from June 30th until July 2027, it's going to be in your 11th house, which is all about community, social media, and even Saturn going into your house of relationships. It already went there between May 24th and September 1st, and it's going to go back there between February 13th, 2026 and April 2028. I think it's time to set boundaries, and I think it's time to figure out which relationships are constructive and helpful versus which ones are slowing you down, and like how to manage those. And with Uranus in the 9th, there may also be interesting opportunities that involve studying or practicing astrology, right? Teaching, traveling, having maybe a lifestyle that allows you to not be attached. And that also to me shows up with your Neptune Uranus conjunction in the 4th house of home and family. Like Neptune can be confusing relationships with family, Uranus can be unstable relationships with family. But if you look at it in a positive realm, this can also suggest that maybe you have like an unconventional home, family, and living situation. So that's what I'm seeing, Bunny. I hope this is helpful. And yeah, take advantage of those dates that are coming up with Jupiter conjunct the midheaven. That is very lucky time. Leo Baby is asking, are the events now similar to 1988 and 2006, 2007? Is that why you asked what was happening then? Yes, it is similar, because every 19 years we get eclipses in the same pairs of houses. And so right now there is kind of similar energetic pattern, right? It's not exactly the same, but it's very similar to that. Bunny's asking, will it work in further? Will I be a good person? They ask me to jump in things. Professionally, it's a good time to take professional risks right now. Yeah. In terms of will you be a good person, we make a choice every day to be a good person or not a good person. I think it's not an astrology question, it is a you question. But I'm sure you asking this question is a sign that you're trying to be a good person, right? Like people who are not trying to improve themselves, they're not really wondering about it. Okay. So I hope this was helpful. So next we have Kayla. Yeah, and work on, like, it will be a period of like having to set some boundaries. If people are shaking your life up and creating a lot of disruptions, try to set some boundaries with them. It's always an opportunity to to kind of present yourself as stronger and more serious and more clear about what you want and what you don't want. Okay. So, Kayla, and then the cosmic key. So let's pull up your information. Are you still in South Africa? What time is it in South Africa right now? Okay, Kayla. So you're saying life has felt so rough lately, getting harassed by strangers and customers at work. When will it get easier? Oh, you live in Palm Beach, Florida right now. Okay. So more appropriate time zone for this live probably versus being in South Africa. Okay, so are you a Leo sun, Taurus moon, Aquarius rising? Thank you, Bonnie. Okay, Kayla says yes. Let's see. So you are born with your South Node in Pisces, your North Node in Virgo, and you are 28, right? 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. So 28 puts you in the 5th house year, which has Uranus in here right now, which could suggest maybe some shakeups. And then Uranus has also been on your moon. Okay, let me look at the transits. Specifically, your question is when will things get better? So let's focus on that too. But it is definitely important when we look at the fact that Uranus has been back and forward from Taurus into Gemini, and your moon is in the last degree of Taurus. So when Uranus travels back and forward, it is going to aspect your moon. And the moon represents our peace and our balance and our sense of security. And so Uranus disrupts a lot of that, and it may disrupt your home base, your relationships with family, anything that you look at for stability. And so Uranus conjoined your moon for the first time in June 2025. Was June messy and disruptive? And then it's going to happen again on November 29th. So we can say from the middle of November until the first couple of weeks of December. And then the last time this happens on April 9th. And so that might be a positive shift when Uranus leaves the sign of your moon for good. What else is going on? You're born with North Node in Virgo in the 8th house. Your South Node is in Pisces in the 2nd. This is interesting. So with South Node in Pisces, you have this strong spiritual side to you. You're maybe very, very giving and generous with people, and you kind of like have a strong belief in maybe like spirituality and invisible things. But in the 2nd house, it might sort of suggest that you're maybe using your gifts for in order to create like financial stability for yourself, or like you're pretty good at making ends meet and having enough money and like having sort of um getting through things. But with your North Node in the 8th, part of what you're learning to do in life is actually to face these unpredictable events. And if you're not aware of them, even Uranus on the moon, right? You're saying things keep happening. So Uranus can a lot of times show up as like accidents or sudden things, but more often than not, this is your subconscious trying to tell you something. So if something is not working, if you're like ready to move, if you're ready to change things, but you're not willing to make those moves, the universe is gonna sort of throw things at you that will throw you off balance and will make you feel uncomfortable and will make you reconsider things. And so part of it with your North Node in the 8th house, I think this is like, I'm not saying that you're going to be dealing with unpredictable, frustrating things all of your life, but there is, with North Node in the 8th, there is this need to build resilience, and to not just build resilience based on like faith and belief, but actually work on like, you've got Mercury in Virgo, you've got Venus in Virgo, like figuring out tangible ways of taking care of yourself, figuring out your savings, figuring out your debts, figuring out your like self-care routines. Like, what do you do when things are thrown off balance? How do you handle it? Do you have some kind of like to-do list and step-by-step protocol? So I think these are the themes that are coming up for me. But when things might get better, I think like you're completely out of like when Uranus leaves. Well, Uranus will also be opposing your Pluto, so that might be a bit. I think it's like a mix. There is a little bit of positive, or not a little bit. There are like positive transits, and then there's some challenging transits. So late November, early December does look irritable. And did you tell me what was happening in June? What happened in June this year? Okay, you're saying people are harassing me, which has never happened before. I just moved here, by the way. I'm not liking my surroundings right now. Not liking my job, which serves the Palm Beach community. Let me look at what your chart looks like in Florida, because it might also be connected to where you are. There is a branch of astrology called astrocartography, and it is based on, so your chart is different in different places, right? You were born in South Africa, and in South Africa you had Aquarius on the ascendant, but when you go to Palm Beach, Florida at the same time, it was a very different ascendant. So that might be why your life feels different there. You're saying June I become deputized at work, meaning it increased my workload and now I'm not in training anymore. Did it feel a little bit chaotic and hectic? Seems like there was some positive changes, right? So this is what your chart looks like in Palm Beach, Florida. And to everyone who's watching, I do astrocartography readings for people who want to know the best place in the world to move to. And if you feel like you've relocated somewhere and you don't feel quite happy there, we can always look at different locations and figure out the happiest place for you. So, Kayla, you become a Libra rising, which is your natal ninth house, which makes sense that this is a faraway place from home. But not only you become a Libra rising, but now you have Mars in the first house in opposition to Saturn in the house of relationships. So if natally you're born with Mars Saturn opposition, but in your natal chart in South Africa or anywhere like above South Africa in the same time zone, Saturn is in your third house and Mars is in the ninth. So maybe you've had some conflicts with teachers or classmates or some ideological battles. In Palm Beach, Florida, Mars is right in the first house. So it might be the question of where you are. And maybe Palm Beach is not the best place if you're looking for something really peaceful because of this sort of Mars Saturn opposition. I still think that like by the middle of next year, things might start to feel a little better because of that. Uranus is going to completely leave Taurus. And so it should stabilize things. But if you don't like it in Florida, maybe Florida is not the place. Maybe you should consider, slightly different location for yourself, because even in Europe, your chart might be like more positively affected. Yeah, like you do have this Mars Saturn opposition in your chart, very exact. And I'm born with Mars Saturn square, so I know how that feels. Like every time you try to go, there may be some kind of obstacle that stops you and slows you down. And in Florida, that is like very highlighted. And Saturn in the house of other people, in the house of partnerships and relationships, will also suggest that this is the place where you're kind of having to deal. It doesn't have to be the bad thing, but it is the place where you're having to deal with some like karmic entanglements and karmic questions. Bunny is asking, does moon sign change? Sorry to ask. The moon sign doesn't change. Your placements don't change, just the ascendant will change based on a different location. Kayla says, I work at a courthouse now. I feel very unstable here. Yeah, it's a place where you're likely to be fighting. It highlights your Mars Saturn. It's the place where you'll be fighting, and the progress may be slow, and there might be a little bit of a attack and defend type of dance. So it's a tricky location for you, I think. But it might get better later, like at the end of, not the end, but like by the middle of next year. So I hope it helps. Maybe if you just move there and you're not attached to being in Florida, maybe I would recommend like trying to think of other places that you can even go and explore and travel to, and see if you feel more comfortable there. But Uranus leaving the sign of your moon in April is going to be a positive shift, at least in the level of like having more stability and feeling a little bit more stable and secure. You're welcome, Kayla. If you ever want to look at other places in the world, book a reading. We can do that. Okay, the cosmic key. Okay, let me see. I see your information. And so you're okay with me sharing your information. Should I refer to you as Cosmic Key, or should I refer to you by your name? And you're welcome, Kayla, if I haven't said that already. I feel like I got distracted. Okay, so moving on. And thank you for everyone. Thank you to people who are supporting me and pressing the like button and donating and all of that. I might take one more person and then wrap up. So if you wanted to be the last, it's the last call, basically. Okay. Cosmic key. Can I refer you by your first name, Cosmic key? Or I can just do this. Putting your information in. And happy early birthday. Oh, Kayla. That's good to know. You're saying I love your videos, they bring me comfort. Yeah, I try to be optimistic and hopeful because that's all we can do basically in this life. One of the things we can do. Sorry. Okay. So the cosmic key saying looking into overall life progression, I feel the same work interruptions. I know I'm not in alignment. Information you're saying can be public. If you go tropical zodiac with Placidus houses, I'm a Libra rising. I work with whole sign, but you will be Libra rising in whole sign house system as well. Sun 7/12 house. 7 degrees. Okay, so in whole sign, your sun will be in the first house. I hope you don't mind that I look at it through whole sign. I could look at it in Placidus, but I'm a whole sign astrologer. I feel like that's my go-to system. Okay, Gemini moon. 2 years deep on dark night of the soul and feeling more and more connected with divinity and personal power. In the Virgo axis, it's hard to continue developing and incorporate. I see the world can absolutely work better. I have always felt I had some destiny or purpose. The 9 to 5 jobs keep me in a cycle. You're saying I am in SC, South Carolina, for karmic healing, but children keep me tied to America for now. So just to clarify, you're kind of interested in how to get more into alignment, it sounds like it. Okay, let me share your chart because you don't mind it being public. And let's see what it tells me. Okay. Oh, it's interesting. I know one of my students is actually a Libra sun, Gemini moon, but she's an Aries rising and a lot of other different placements, but the same Jupiter, same moon, same sun. So similarities abound. Okay. So, what do I think about your chart? So, you're going through your nodal return. You're born with South Node in Virgo in your 12th house, which could suggest kind of, karmic patterns, soul patterns of being a healer, of working behind the scenes, of maybe some type of energy of like self-sacrifice and escaping into self-criticism or escaping into serving other people, maybe even some like unhealthy escapist tendencies that you're working on releasing. And of course the south node, the fact that it's your nodal return, which happens once every 19 years, right? What was 2006 2007 like for you? Hi, Odelia. Thank you for asking how I'm doing. I am well. Um, yeah, Chad, I'm just called you Cosmic Key, so but I might go back and forward between Chad and probably I can just call you Chad, but don't mind that the chart says Cosmic Key. So yeah, so you have this with South Node in Virgo. There is this kind of tendency to be to almost like escape, but be too like sometimes get stuck in the details, sometimes be too anxious, too nervous, right? Like too controlling of certain things. And so what your North Node really wants you to do, it wants you to find balance by working on your intuition, by working on your ability to trust. Um, it's also pulling you into this domain of like physical health and taking care of your body and finding balance again between like serving other people, um and being grounded and also taking care of yourself through spiritual practices, right? Like I think it really, this sixth house energy, and Saturn is there and it has been there since March 2023, and it's in here now for the very last time. It's going to leave in February, but like how has your life and your workload changed between like in the last 2.5 years? So North Node in Pisces is this kind of need to establish like more peace, more spiritual routines, like doing yoga, doing meditation, having, and it's ruled by your Jupiter in the ninth house too. So your South Node is ruled by Mercury in the first. Your North Node is ruled by Jupiter in the ninth. I wonder if it also suggests that like learning or teaching could be joyful to you, writing, right? Like finding some kind of outlet for creativity. For but like Virgo South Node people oftentimes have this, it's like a bit of like, very perfect on the outside, or having this one side to your personality where you look like you have everything in control and you're like very, you know what to do, and you're also born with the sun in the first house. You're kind of like, you radiate your personality, right? Like you are who you are on some level, and like Virgo South Node can be too like perfectionist and like fussy and focused on like money and grounded things, but then your North Node is very much calling you to go into the direction of like spirituality. So I think that's what's probably, that's like learning about astrology. I am teaching a course. I'm going to teach again next year. I'm probably going to keep teaching. So if you ever are looking for a teacher, I am happy to I'm happy to be your astrological guide. But then even your Jupiter currently, like Jupiter is transiting the 10th house, and you've got Chiron in the 10th. And Chiron in Cancer may suggest that you are really good at nurturing other people, but you may struggle to feel like other people nurture you. So it's like an interesting combination, because like I think on one hand you're meant to be a healer, but the first person you need to heal is yourself. And then perhaps through doing that, you can figure out like what you can offer to the world, and how you can be like a teacher, maybe with Jupiter in the first house, like somebody who nurtures and empowers other people. But there is this kind of like strong emphasis that like you need to tap into your intuition, your spirituality, your more like watery self. And you don't have a lot of water in your chart, so it's like learning to cry. I mean, your midheaven is in water, your Pluto is in water, and your North Node is in water, but like you're very airy. You've got the sun in Libra, Mercury in Libra, ascendant in Libra, moon, Jupiter in Gemini. It's all like very very like rational and intellectual. And so what you need is to add some type of like intuitive Reiki, connecting with your body, healing yourself through like working on some more spiritual, intuitive, like working with metaphysical sciences, I think is what I'm seeing. Um, you're saying I like Eastern too and balance them out. I'd like your individual spin, nail on the head. Well, thank you. Yeah, it's even being a Libra rising, right? There's so much emphasis often on what people think of you and how you're perceived and how to be like friendly and nice. And Gemini moon will overthink things to death. And like Mercury in the first can be actually quite helpful for like self understanding and talking about yourself and gaining some insight through that and being adaptable. But North Node in the sixth is almost telling you that the things that maybe feel minute, like, who has time to meditate for like 5 minutes? What's the point? But for you, there is a point. There is a point in doing these little sort of things and maybe learning and maybe going to like a Buddhist monastery and finding your sangha, your community, right? That could be also quite important, especially as Jupiter begins to, well, it's still early for Jupiter in Cancer, but it is going to conjoin your, let me tell you when. It's going to conjoin your midheaven, which can suggest some interesting developments in your professional life, some exciting opportunities. But then next year, after June 30th, it's going to head in the direction of your house of community, which will potentially empower you to share what you've learned and share and like even connect with people who are like-minded, connect with people that are aligned with you. And you're born with your chart ruler in the 11th house. So community is really important to you. Yeah. Jupiter conjoins your midheaven on October 22nd, on December 1st, and June 3rd. And those can be especially professionally lucky and insightful, I think. Okay. Yes, paralysis by analysis. I think you're saying that you love my YouTube channel. Okay, you guys, I hope this was helpful. My list, if any last person wanted to jump on, otherwise we are going to wrap up today. Thank you for trusting me with your chart information. Thank you for trusting me with looking at your cosmic blueprint and interpreting it and deciphering it. I am hopeful it was helpful. And for anyone who wants to book a private reading, visit my website, anastasiadoesastrology.com. I am promoting my 2026 planner. This one is fresh. Why it's so bright. I thought it's gonna be like a good thing that it's so bright, but it's not. Anyways, if you want to order it, you can save $6 with the coupon code earlybird. You can see the link in the posts on my page, so check it out. Save $6 and visit my website to book a reading if you'd like. Chad says I do all of that: writing, music, singing, poetry, reading, musical, occult knowledge. So maybe that's where you need to go more. So thank you, everyone. I will see you okay. Chad says, oh yeah, might do that. When is the next class? So I'm going to teach a predictive class in the winter time. So like around February. And then I will repeat the introductory natal chart, I think next September. So we just started. You can potentially jump on and catch up, but it's been 4 lessons, so it might be difficult. We're sort of 1/3 of the way through. JMS, do I have time for one more? Yes, I think I can do one more. So if you send the donation to the payment link in the description or in the pinned comment, and I am going to say that the list is closed, so you will be the last person, and then I'm going to be officially wrapped up. So much for saying goodbye. Goodbye. Hello. But okay, so if you want to do that, I can definitely wait a little bit longer and then wrap up. Chat says Cardinal Grand Cross variant. In your chart? Libra, Aries, Mars, Cancer, Chiron, right? And midheaven, and what, Neptune in Capricorn? Well, sometimes when you have a full cardinal grand cross, you can find a way to figure out your own unique way of dealing with tension. Sometimes it's actually easier to solve than a T-square on some level because you can find the truth in the middle. Hi, Miss Moreno. So I am wrapping up, but there was one person that wanted to get on the list. So I'm just giving it another 5 minutes. And if that doesn't happen, then we can officially wrap up. But yes, JMS, you can still jump on, but no pressure. I have been live at this point for an hour and a half, so it's a pretty long time. Okay, JMS, are you interested in a reading, or are you in the middle of trying to send the payment? Just checking. I'm also checking my emails to see if anything is coming through. Chad says, I felt that we should all be able to take 15 minutes to clear our mind. We should all be able to take 15 minutes to clear our mind. Well, okay, I'm not sure what's happening with the JMS asking. I feel like sometimes there are delays also, so it's hard to tell whether people are getting to hear me on time. But the list is officially closed. But if one more person wanted to get on, and I think JMS was the one who was interested, but I am going to, maybe sometimes people feel interested, but things don't work out for whatever reason. So I'm also doing these lives. I'm doing these lives every Monday for the most part. So if you are here and you want a reading, but you couldn't get one for whatever reason today, just join me next Monday. And I think I am going to wrap up. So thank you, everyone, for your support and for your, again, sharing your questions and asking questions and participating. And I will see you very soon on YouTube or live, whatever it might be. Okay. Bye, guys.